The movie opens weaving its tale in the midst of a forest bathed in the mystery of night. Two diligent police officers are in the midst of a critical mission. They are escorting Krug, an infamous murderer with sexual assault charges, to a secure prison. However, their journeys momentarily paused at a railway crossing due to a passing train. Out of nowhere, a sudden impact jolts them. A truck barrels into their car. From the wreckage, two shadowy figures with covered faces emerge. The suspense intensifies as these masked individuals are revealed to be Francis, Krug's younger brother, and Sadie, Krug's remorseless girlfriend. Demonstrating her chilling nature, Sadie ruthlessly shoots and kills one officer. Afterward, they liberate Krug from his confines. As they regroup, Krug inquires about his son, Justin. Francis reassures him about Justin's safety. Without hesitation, Krug then strangles the remaining officer, ensuring no witnesses are left. In stark contrast, we're introduced to Mari, an admirable young swimmer, and her loving family. Her mother, Emma, and her father, John, who's a skilled surgeon, decide to go on a serene vacation by a lake. Before embarking on their trip, we witness snippets of their daily life. Mari honing her swimming skills and John meticulously performing surgery at a hospital. Once they arrive at their lakeside destination, Emma and John settle in the primary residence, while Mari, seeking solitude, rests at the guest house. Mari's somber mood hints at a profound loss. She's grieving her brother's demise and holds onto a treasured gold pendant, a gift from him. The story takes another turn when Mari approaches her parents with a request. She wishes to visit a friend, John. After a moment of contemplation, hands her the car keys and some cash. Mari heads to a local store where her friend Paige is employed. Coincidentally, Justin, Krug's son, who unlike his family isn't tainted by criminal intentions, is also present. He attempts to buy cigarettes but is denied due to the lack of ID. Trying to negotiate, Justin offers Paige some herbs he has in exchange for the cigarettes. Eventually, Paige agrees. The trio then proceeds to a nearby hotel. While Mari patiently waits in the car, Justin and Paige share a moment in his room. Impatient, Mari decides to check on them and finds them chilling and enjoying a cigarette. Initially hesitant, Mari eventually joins in, unaware of the events that are about to unfold. Following their time at the motel, Emma reaches out to Mari, curious about her daughter's whereabouts. Mari, eager to assuage her mother's concerns, promises to be home by morning. Opting to spend the night at Paige's. As the evening progresses, the girls and Justin share lighthearted banter and get to know one another better. However, the atmosphere quickly turns tense when Justin's father, Krug, along with Francis and Sadie, make an unexpected appearance. Both Mari and Paige sense the impending danger and start seeking a way out. Their suspicions are validated when Krug recognizes Mari's car parked outside, viewing it as a potential means of escape. Given that Krug and Sadie are on the police's radar with their faces plastered all over the news, they hatch a plan to use Mari's car to elude capture. While Mari and Paige are gripped by panic, Paige musters the strength to fend off a threatening Francis. She repels him with a forceful shove and bolts herself in the bathroom. Desperation grips her as she frantically tries to contact the authorities. But Francis, relentless, batters the door open, rendering her efforts futile. He ensures to destroy both Paige's and Mari's communication lines, further trapping them. Under Krug's orders, everyone is ushered into Mari's car and they hastily leave the motel premises. As they navigate the roads, they spot a police car, prompting them to detour into the forest for cover. Amidst the chaos, Mari, seizing an opportunity, discreetly activates the car's cigarette lighter using her foot. Once it's scorching, she thrusts it onto Sadie's face, resulting in a chaotic scuffle. The car spirals out of control, crashing into a cliff. The crash inflicts a broken nose on Francis. Reacting to Mari's audacious move, an enraged Sadie lunges at her, but Paige intervenes, wielding a wooden branch as her weapon. She smacks Sadie with it and seizes the moment to flee. A frantic chase ensues, with Francis and Sadie hot on her heels. Paige, resourceful and desperate, finds a hiding spot within a hole, lying in wait as her pursuers pass her by. Once they're out of sight, Paige alters her direction, stumbling upon an industrial plant. She cries out for assistance, but it's short-lived as Francis quickly catches up. Despite her valiant efforts to resist, the combined might of Sadie and Francis proves too much. They overpower and capture Paige, dragging her back into their web of menace. In a tense moment, Krug attempts to influence his son Justin to adopt his wicked ways. He pushes Justin to sexually assault the girls, but Justin, displaying a moral compass that opposes his father, resists even when Krug physically tries to force him. Seeing Krug's awful behavior, Paige musters the courage to speak out. She boldly calls him pathetic, a remark that deeply angers Krug. In his rage, he approaches the tied-up Paige and jabs her in the stomach. Francis, always ready to aid his accomplice, follows suit and strikes Paige on her back. These cruel acts result in severe injuries, leaving Paige's life hanging in the balance. Mari, despite her fear, tries to repel Krug's advances, but the situation is stacked against her, as his family, including his son, girlfriend, and brother, watch. With some even helping, Krug proceeds to sexually assault Mari. However, amidst this harrowing event, Mari cleverly manages to secure a rock without Krug's knowledge. Once he's done, she takes her chance, striking Krug on the head and making a desperate dash towards the lake, seeking refuge in its depths. But Krug isn't done. He pursues her relentlessly, firing shots in her direction. Tragically, one of the shots connects and Mari's seemingly lifeless body floats to the surface. Assuming they've silenced her forever, the group departs. Elsewhere in the tranquility of their vacation home, Emma and John are engrossed in their dinner when an unexpected knock interrupts them. To their surprise, they find Krug, Francis, Sadie, and Justin at their doorstep. The group conceals their true identities, spinning a fabricated tale about a car accident. Compassionate as ever, Emma and John offer assistance. They explain that any immediate transportation is unavailable since Mari has taken the car, but they open their doors for the seemingly normal guests. Soon after, John tends to Francis's injured nose. However, a sudden power outage complicates matters. Determined, John ventures outside to kickstart the generator, while Emma engages Krug in conversation, trying to gain more information about their unexpected guests. With the power back on, John resumes his medical assistance, sewing up Francis's wound. Meanwhile, Emma, showcasing her nurturing side, attends to Justin, comforting him with a warm cup of chocolate. The relentless rain, combined with a lack of communication due to a non-functional phone, prompts John and Emma to offer shelter to their unexpected guests for the night. Gratefully, the group agrees, retreating to the guest house. What Emma and John remain blissfully unaware of is the harrowing fact that they're providing refuge to the very people who tormented their daughter. In the cozy atmosphere of the living room, the adults are engrossed in conversation. Emma, feeling the weight of a mother's concern, attempts multiple times to call her daughter. Each attempt goes unanswered, leaving her more anxious. Little does she know, a resilient Mari, despite her severe injuries, is desperately trying to find her way back home. Amid the chatter, Justin feels the need to use the bathroom. He heads to the kitchen, first placing his cup on the counter. As he turns to leave, his eyes catch the sight of a familiar face. A photo of Mari magnetically fixed to the refrigerator. A heavy realization dawns on him. They are in Mari's home. The weight of his involvement and guilt sinks in, making his stomach churn. Panicking, he dashes to the bathroom. Before he leaves the kitchen, he places the gold pendant next to his cup, a cruel memento that Krug has taken from Mari. After some time, Emma guides their unexpected guests to the guest house. Francis, misinterpreting Emma's kind gestures, begins to entertain the thought that she might be interested in him. Once the guests are settled, Emma returns to the main house, her instincts alerting her that something is off about their guests. She confides in her husband John, sharing her reservations. Their discussion leads them to a decision: better safe than sorry. They ought to lock up the house for the night. Suddenly, a soft but unusual knock interrupts their conversation. John's curiosity gets the better of him and he decides to see who's outside. To his shock, he finds his injured daughter Mari. She's in dire condition, having managed to drag herself to the house's porch. John's fatherly instincts kick in. He gently brings her inside, discovering the gunshot wound. With quick thinking, he administers first aid, doing everything in his power to stabilize her. Recognizing the severity of Mari's condition, John understands the wound needs to be cauterized. As they scramble for resources, Emma scours the kitchen. Her eyes fall upon the pendant next to Justin's cup. Connecting the dots, she realizes the unsettling truth. Their guests are intricately tied to Mari's assault. Heart pounding, she quickly informs John about the pendant, cementing their fears that the visiting family had indeed harmed their precious daughter. Mari's condition is critical and they urgently need to get her to a hospital. But with their car unavailable, the only feasible way out is by boat, crossing the lake. There's just one hiccup: the boat keys are missing. Determined, John makes his way to the boat, hoping to find the keys there. Over in the guest house, Justin sees a golden opportunity. With Krug deep in slumber, Justin discreetly snatches the gun from the bedside table. Unbeknownst to him, Francis, under the wrong impression that Emma's taken a liking to him, ventures to the main house. Emma, all too aware of Mari's vulnerable state in the living room, strives to shield her from Francis's view. She cleverly distracts him, feigning flirtation and mentioning her husband's supposed drunken state upstairs. To keep Francis off the scent, Emma steers their conversation towards deeper topics, even offering him a glass of wine. But she doesn't lose sight of the potential threat: the family photo on the fridge. Swiftly, she tucks the photo away as she retrieves a wine bottle. Despite John's diligent search, the boat keys remain elusive. Recognizing the imminent danger therein, he decides to scout for tools that could serve as weapons against the looming threats. However, despite Emma's desperate attempts to conceal her daughter, Francis soon discovers Mari's injured form on the living room table. Reacting quickly, Emma smashes a wine bottle over his head. To her horror, it barely phases him. She pulls out a knife in a desperate bid for defense, but Francis is relentless. Just in the nick of time, John storms into the scene. Witnessing his wife's situation, he brutally breaks Francis's nose once more. In a gritty confrontation, John tries to drown Francis in the kitchen sink. But when Francis manages to pull the plug, thinking he's gained the upper hand, John activates the garbage disposal. Francis's hand gets caught, suffering brutal damage. With fierce determination, John deals the final blow, using the sharp end of a hefty hammer. Now, with one threat neutralized, the couple's focus shifts to the other house, where the remaining adversaries reside. Armed with a freshly acquired knife and a poker, they quietly enter Krug's bedroom. To their surprise, they find Justin holding his father's gun. Without hesitation, Justin hands over the gun to John, silently permitting him to exact vengeance on Kruger. But the element of surprise is short-lived. John's handling of the gun wakes Sadie, who John shoots immediately. Krug, quick on his feet, narrowly avoids the bullet, diving through a window and making a dash for the main house. The chase is on. In the midst of chaos, Sadie tries to find refuge by locking herself in the bathroom. However, John's determination is evident as he forcefully kicks down the door. Caught in the heat of the moment, Sadie fiercely tries to fend off both John and Justin's attacks. But just when it seems she might prevail, Emma steps in with a decisive blow to Sadie's face, putting an end to the struggle. Elsewhere, as Krug roams around the main house, he stumbles upon Mari's clothing. The grim reality dawns on him: he's in the house of his victim. His shock deepens when he discovers his brother's motionless body in the kitchen. With tensions mounting, Justin aids Emma in their search for the boat keys, eager to escape the night's horrors. Krug, ever the predator, senses something amiss and enters a bedroom, spotting the family's escape plans laid out. As John bravely ventures into the same room, he spots the open window and wrongly assumes Krug has fled. But to his horror, Krug is closer than he thinks. The ensuing battle is brutal and Krug gains the upper hand. Krug, relishing his perceived upper hand, taunts John about the deeds he committed against Mari. But even in his vulnerable state, John spots the boat keys. As Krug readies himself for the final blow, he's caught off guard. Justin, showing a spine of steel, points a gun at the back of his father's head. Krug, however, mocks his son's act of bravery, especially when Justin's shot fails due to an empty chamber. Angered, Krug retaliates by pinning Justin and delivering a cruel blow with a fire poker. But the tide turns again when Emma storms in armed with a fire extinguisher, giving the couple the chance to overpower the monstrous Krug. By the break of dawn, the battered family, accompanied by Justin, sails across the lake seeking much-needed medical aid. But the tale doesn't end there. Later, John confronts Krug one last time. Awakening from his unconsciousness, Krug finds himself paralyzed, incapacitated by the deep cuts John inflicted upon him. Panicking, Krug demands an explanation. In a climactic act of revenge, John places Krug's head inside a microwave, pressing start. The movie concludes on a grisly note as John ensures that those who harmed his family face the ultimate consequence. With love and the will to protect their kin at the heart of their actions, Mari's parents, Emma and John, rise above their expected roles, taking justice into their own hands. The harrowing tale reaches its climax when John delivers the final chilling vengeance upon Krug. The movie not only delves into the depth of human resilience and love, but also examines the lengths one would go to protect their loved ones. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.